bullseye here. I'm gonna make this project that my cousin asked me to make, and it is going to be a Christmas gift for his dad, who is my cousin also. He says this is a character from a video game that they play called Crash Bandicoot, and his name is Aku or something like that. So he said that he'd like it to be like the size of a head, of a human head, so I'm gonna work on making that. So I found some awesome wood species for this project, I think. For the main wood in the back of the head, I am going to use this piece of sapele. And then for the eyebrows and the lips, I'm going to use padauk. And then for the eyes and the nose, I am going to use yellow heart. And for the teeth, I'm going to use aspen. Yeah. So let's get going. So I printed it off and made sure the size was good with my cousin. And now I'm just gonna cut those pieces out and put them on their color. The picture printed a funny color, but it doesn't matter, I just needed the shapes. I laid them out and sprayed 3M77 on the backs, using a stick to hold them down so they wouldn't fly away with the first spritz. I don't like getting this glue on my fingers, so I've been using these tweezers and the ends are all clumped up with glue, but they still work for this. So I put the pieces on their woods, making the grain go the way I wanted. Then used the small bandsaw to cut them into more manageable pieces. Then realized I forgot to do the main face piece on the sapele, which I made more manageable by cutting it down with the miter saw. Okay, so I have all the pieces now. I have the teeth, the eyebrows, the eyes, the nose, and the other eye. And I just figured out I forgot the lips. So let's cut those out. There. Yay! I cut out most of the pieces with the little bandsaw, the face, the eyebrows, the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. I cut the teeth out on the scroll saw and also a notch on one of the eyes. And then sanded it a bit to round it out. Then went back to the scroll saw to section the eyepieces that look like rinds of a lemon or something. I just stuck this on with double stick tape, and I'm going to score around it because I'm not too sure about my pattern lines. I needed a little help seeing those score lines better, so I looked through the lighted magnification lamp, and that really helped. I suppose I can explain this a bit more. I'm scoring around the teeth onto the mouth because the pattern doesn't have crisp lines, so the fit is going to be better if I can make nice score lines tracing around the teeth, which will act like nice crisp pattern lines. The double stick tape holds really well at times, and once I got those separated, I drilled a hole in it. And threaded the blade of the scroll saw through the hole to cut the inner part out. And everybody knows how much I dislike doing this, but anyway, I did it. then unthreaded it, but it was much easier to unthread it because the hole was so big. Then I tried the teeth in. I used my sanding eraser to clean up my sander, and man, I love this thing. Then worked on shaping the mouth. First at the pneumatic drum, then at the Wonder Wheel. I also made a new nose using one thick piece. You can see the first attempt in the back there where I had the nostrils as their own pieces, but it wasn't looking right. I shaped the nose with the pneumatic drum sander, then marked some lines for more shaping. Then used this Dremel type thing to shape some of the hard to reach areas of the mouth. I found this tool at a garage sale, and it takes Dremel bits and works like a Dremel, but it isn't a Dremel. I'll just call it Big Red. Big Red worked really well. It was such a great garage sale find. Then I tried the teeth in, and I took a look. And it was starting to look like this Aku character. Next was to add in some crack marks Aku has on his face. I used the eraser stick again real quick, then first shaped the top of Aku's head a little. Then used the Wonder Wheel and put those marks in. I had to grab the picture for reference real quick, then extended the cracks around to the top of his head. And I did the same thing to the eyebrows. Then I used the Wonder Wheel to shape the nostrils of the nose. Then I was done with the nose for a bit and went on to remove the papers with mineral spirits. Then I used my flex drum with 220 to sand and smooth all the pieces that I could. And hand sanded with 220 on the nose, the teeth, and the eye rinds. Then use mineral spirits to take the face paper off. Aku has some feathers that go on the top of his head. And so this is the size of the feather I'm going to be using, and which is about this size, which was, I don't know, 5/16 or something like that. I can't remember. Anyway, it's about the same size, so I'm going to just put some holes in the head here where those feathers are going to go. Yeah. There. All right. Woohoo! Yeah. Yeah. And now I made these marks with the Wonder Wheel, but it didn't burn it enough. And actually I sanded off some of the burn. So I'm going to go back with this wood burner and burn some new burn marks, or make some new burn marks. So I just followed those Wonder Wheel grooves with the wood burner, and I liked how it was looking. So the bottom of Aku's eyes are green, like it's a lemon peel or something. Or lemon rind or something. I don't know. Anyway, I'm just going to take these bottom pieces and see if I can make them green. Kind of do it like it's, I don't know, like a stain, kind of. Oh. Everything's so hard. Why is everything so hard? I don't know. It's because we live in a fallen world. So I just used that spilled acrylic paint to paint the other one, and the rest of the paint wiped up real easily. Then I used some water and washed down the paint on the pieces, and it gave me the color I was hoping for. Yeah, that looks nice. I like that a lot. Okay, so we'll let that dry. Cool. Then I used Old Master's Pickling White on the teeth. You wipe it on and you wipe it off until it feels dry. Then you let it sit there and pickle. And it pickles the aspen to really, really whiteness. I love it. Talk about tooth whitening. Then I put Old Master's Gel Polyurethane on the other pieces, wiping it on, all of the pieces everywhere except the back, then wiping it off. And I let all those set up for about 6 hours. On the back of Aku, it was requested to put the Crash Bandicoot logo and something that Aku says. I put the logo on using the inkjet transfer method because the heat didn't work well for some reason. But for Aku sentence, the heat transfer worked great. Aku says boom baduba, or something like that. I have some links down below so you can go take a listen. Once the pieces were dry, it was ready to go together. For the goatee or little beard, I used some plastic leaves and I trimmed them to fit. Then drilled a hole and put them in place. Then started gluing the parts. I haven't put any finish on the face piece yet, so the pieces will glue wood to wood. Then I glued on the nose, then the eyebrows, and I moved down to the goatee leaves and I glued those in. Within a few minutes, the eyebrows were solid enough not to move, so I glued on the eyes. Then glued on the mouth and the teeth. After that set for a while, it was time to try on the feathers. I put them in and adjusted their length. I also adjusted the side holes so the blue and the pink feathers would flare out to the sides a bit more like in the picture. Then I took the feathers off again and put Old Master's Gel Poly on the back and on the front, using a small brush to get into the nooks and crannies, and using a paper towel and rag to wipe it all off. And once it was all dry, I put the feathers back on to take a look. Then I added a saw-toothed hanger to the back. Aku is all done. And I had never heard of Aku before, or Crash Bandicoot, which is the video game that he's apparently a character in. But some family asked me to make it as a Christmas gift for another family member who really loves Aku. So I was happy to do that, and I'm happy that it turned out pretty awesome. So thanks for joining me, everybody, and we'll see you next time. Bye!